So this is our last year before Rosh Hashanah, last year of Tovshin Ayin Ches. And next time we see each other, it'll be a new year. So the coming days are of extreme importance. One cannot exaggerate how important they are as we prepare for Yom HaMeirah. So first of all, the topic we will be discussing today, this afternoon, is Malchia Zechon Shofar, and primarily Tekias the Meyushav and Tekias the Mehumad. Usually the shiurim are of direct halachic relevance. Today's shiur, well, everything touches upon halacha, but it's more a lomdisha discussion than a halachic one. So on Daf Tez Zayin Rosh Hashanah, the Gemara says, Lamu toikin v'meriyin kishem yoshvin v'choiznem v'toikin v'meriyin kishem oimdim kedei la'arbe v'sasoton. First of all, there are different interpretations. How are we ma'arbe v'sasoton? Sometimes we seem to be more successful in la'arbe v'tatzmeinu masher la'arbe v'sasoton. And we blow and blow and blow. So let's first make seder. So in a Torah, we need Tisha Kodesh. Trua is 3 times, by Rosh Hashanah and by Yovel. As I learned from the Psukim, every Trua needs a Tekiya Lefoneo and a Tekiya La'achareo. So in a Torah, all we need is Tisha Kodesh. 3 Truas, every Trua has a Tekiya before and after. So in Rosh Hashanah Lamed Daled, the Rebavu made a takana, Itkan Rebavu v'Kislin, that we should blow 30 kodesh and not 9. The reason being, we don't know how to define the truah. It definitely is a koil of shivroin leiv, but is it size or sabs? Genuch gonach or yiruli yolo? And maybe a combination of both, because when people are in distress, sometimes it starts with sighs and it ends with sobs when a person breaks out crying and sobbing. And therefore we do tashrat, tashat, tarat, which is all 3 possibilities. And that is how 3 morphed into 9, turned into 30. But we actually do more than 30. Toikem v'merin kishem yoshvin, toikem v'merin kishem oimdim. So we do 30 kodesh before Tfilas HaMusaf, and we say the brocha, B'shmuah called Shofar, and we do another 30 B'chazor Sheshatz because of Malchia Zechon Shofar. And then the Sfardim and Chasidim also do Malchia Zechon Shofar B'lachash. So that brings us up to 90. And they do 10 koilis, Tashrat, Tashat, Tarat by Kaddish. Ashkenazim don't blow in Lachash, and they do 40 koilis after Tfilas HaMusaf. Why 100? Aim Sisra. The Gemara learns from Aim Sisra, and that is the Shittas HaOruch. Only one of the Rishonim mentions that, but that is primarily the Mekubalim that brought us up to 100 koilis, the Shloh and the Ari and others. So those are the basic minhagim. So the Gemara says la'arbe v'sasoton. Rashi and Tosfos have 2 different interpretations. Rashi writes, Kishasoton roya she'yisor machabe v'nes ha-mitzvahs mistat min ta'anoisav. It's all about chibuv mitzvah. Tosfos quotes Yerushalmi. The Soton knows that at the end of days, when Mashiach comes, we'll blow the shofar. So when he hears the shofar in Rosh Hashanah, he doesn't know, what is this? Is it the shofar of Rosh Hashanah or B'mei Mashiach came? And when Mashiach comes, that's the end of him. He will be slaughtered and killed and destroyed, and he'll no longer have a job. So when he hears the first bursts of Kol Shofar, he says, no, it's probably Rosh Hashanah. But when he hears it again, he's confused, and he says, they already blew the shofar for Rosh Hashanah. What is this? So Mashiach is here, and he's preoccupied with his own tzoros, so he doesn't really have the mood to come and be Mekateg al Yisrael. Interesting. That's Tosfos Shem Yushalmi. Rashi says, so I wrote in Minchas Osha, and then I was made aware that this is a word that goes back to the Kedushas Levi, to the Hafla. Chazal say, the Sultan is busy bringing all the Avedas we perform throughout the year, and he has intelligence, and he brings those Avedas me'ever l'sambatyon, mitachas lahorei choshech. Who knows where he fetches them and fishes those Avedas and brings them all, put them on the scale. Chazal say, when we do tshuva mihavo, kol hazon is nasan l'keschuyos. So everything is tofeach al ponav. He's gone out of his way, and he invested so much energy to bring Avedas, and they're all turned into schuyos. So it's crazy. It's insane. He would prefer not bringing anything at the end of the day. So chibuv mitzvah is a reflection of midas ha'ahava. Because mitzad midas ha'yiro, there is no chibuv. Mitzad midas ha'yiro, you just, you do what you have to do. You don't want to make a Kodesh Baruch Hu angry. You don't make him angry. You don't transgress. But you don't go out of the way chibuv mitzvah. That is always a reflection of avodas me'ahava. So when he sees that Yisrael mechabev in his mitzvahs, and then he becomes hysterical because he's afraid that oiseh tshuva mi'ahava, all the Zadon is turned into mitzvahs, so it's no wonder that he goes out of his mind. But I thought a pshat that's korav l'pshat, not only drash. The Gemara in Brochas Daf Chav says, Malach HaShor asked the Kodesh Baruch Hu. In Parshas Eikim in the Posuk it says, "Ukei lagodel v'noir, agiva v'noiru asher lo yisapona v'lo yikashrechan." And then in Berchas Kohanim, Yisro Hashem pona v'lecha. Are you an Isaponim or not? And the Kodesh Baruch Hu says, "V'chi eich lo yesel ampunim liyisol shani amarti v'chalto v'sofoto v'hem machmirim anatzmam ad kezayis ad kebeitza." So when we go out of our way and we serve a Kodesh Baruch Hu above and beyond the call of duty, more than we have to, and chibuv mitzvah, midah keneged midah, the Kodesh Baruch Hu is no Isaponim. And the Siyas Ponim has no limit, has no gvul. And that's the Sultan's nightmare, Siyas Ponim. Because when a Kodesh Baruch Hu is no Isaponim, then it's limitless. Miyoim alay ma'atasa. So the Sultan knows how to build a strategy b'midas adin. But he can't cope with Siyas Ponim. So Keshu Royesh Yisol Machabev and Esa Mitzvahs, and then a Kodesh Baruch Hu says, "V'chi eich lo yesel lahem ponim, ani amarti tisha koiles," and they're blowing their heads off 100 koiles. V'chi eich lo yesel lahem ponim, and then Keshu Royesh Yisol Machabev Mitzvahs mistaknen tanoisa. So that's just the word of Kodesh Hashanah. So which of the Tekias are the Iker ones, and which are the ones that are just la'arbev esasop? Which of the two sets are more important? Seems to be a machlokes in Rishonim, and many achronim understood that it's a machlokes in Rishonim. Because the Ran in Masechet Yuma, Torah Siman Tov Kuf Pei Hei, say the Iker Tekiyas are Tekiyas de Ma'umad. Because they are with the brachas, Malchus Zechron Shoifos, and the Gemara Darshans Malchus Zechron Shoifos from Psukim. Yeshoimim Shizim in a Torah. Most of the Shoinim say it's in a Smachta, but it is important. Imre Lafona Malchios, Imre Lafona Zechronis, Kedei Shetala Zechronchem Lafona Latoiva Ubemea B'Shoifo. So the Iker Tekiyas are Tekiyas de Ma'omed that we say Machazoros Shatz. So why do we say the brachas of Shofar before Tekiyas de Meyushav? So Toysa says Psochem Kuf Tesvav. How does Tekiyas Shofar get into Psochem Kuf Tesvav? Psochem Kuf Tesvav v'hamachlokes Rav Huna and Rav Chisda. What is a person supposed to do if the only vegetable he has, Belela Seder, is moror? He has nothing else. But karpas comes before moror. So he has no horseradish, he has no potatoes. So what is he supposed to do with karpas? Rav Huna says, he eats chasa for karpas with intention not to be mekayim mitzvahs moror. So all he says is about Piadomo, and then he eats the same chasa again after matzah l'shem moror, and he says the bracha the second time around. And if Chisda disagrees, and if Chisda says la'achar shemile kreisei choiser mavorech, doesn't make sense, doesn't sound right. How could a person eat moror b'leila seder and not say the bracha? So Rav Chisda says, when you eat moror l'shem karpas, you say the bracha l'achilas moror. And then after matzah, you eat moror l'shem moror and without saying the bracha. So Tosfos says the same principle is also relevant by Tekias Shofar. The Ikat Tekias is Tekias the Ma'umad. But how could you blow Shloshim Kodesh without saying the bracha? That is why we say the bracha before Tekias the Miyushav. So that's the Ran, that's the Tur and Siman Tov Kuf Pei, and that's Tosfos and Psochim Kuf Tezvav. On the other hand, Tosfos Roshon Amidal brings three minhagim. How do we blow the shofar b'malchus and shofars? All three minhagim are brought in Shulchan Aruch, Tov Kuf Tzadik Beis Sif Aleph. So the Mechaber says, the din of Tekias b'chazor Shatz, Malchus and shofar says, we do one tashrat for Malchus, one tashat for Zechonis, and one tarat for shofars. All in all, 10 koilis, not 30. The Ramah says, no, we do 3 times tashrat. One tashrat Malchus, one tashrat Zechonis, one tashrat shofars. Both opinions are brought in Tosfos. And according to both opinions, all we do by Tekias, the Mu'umad, 10 koilis, not 30. The Mechaber brings a minhag, which is also not our minhag, but according to the minhag that the Mechaber brings, 3 tashrat Malchus, 3 tashat Zechonis, 3 tarat shofars. Strange, but our minhag is the shlo. And Ashkenazim and Hasidim and Sfaradim, everybody does it. We ignore the Mechaber and the Ramah. And our minhag is tashat tarat, Malchus, Zechonis, shofars. So we do have Shloshim Kodesh. But in the days of the Rishonim, they were Mekel Bet Tekias the Mu'umad. And Tosfos Roshona says, because we're Yeri Yotze with Tekias the Miyushav. And therefore, because we were already Yotze, the Mishum Tercha de Tzabura were Mamayit, were Mekel Tekias the Mu'umad. So the Chazon Ish, Orach Chaim Kuf Chov Daled, Orach Chaim Kuf Chov Daled and Chazon Ish is Chidushim on Masechet Psochim Lefi Seder Adapim, Psochim Kuf Tezvov. Chazon Ish says it's a steer as the Tosfos. Because Tosfos in Psochim Kuf Tezvov says we're Mekel, and Tekias, no. Tosfos in Psochim Kuf Tezvov says the Ikat Tekias is Tekias the Mu'umad. And the reason we say the bracha about Tekias the Miyushav is just because la'achar shemir klei, so like karpas. And Rosh Hashanah Tosfos says we're yotzim at Tekias the Miyushav, and therefore Tekias the Mu'umad we're Mekel. So it's a steer at Tosfos. As you all know, we're not very troubled by a steer at Tosfos. The Mashal writes in Yam Shlomo Bava Kama that there were 300 Bali Tosfos. So Tosfos in one Masechta is not necessarily the same as Tosfos in another Masechta, and Shas is full of steers and Tosfos, and we should not be troubled about that. But if the Chazon Ish is right, there is a steer at Tosfos, we should be far more troubled that the Tur, Soiser Divrei Atzma, and the Tur is a Poisel, not only a commentary. And a Siman Tov Kuf Pei Hey, the Tur writes that the Ikat Tekias is Tekias the Mu'umad, and Tov Kuf Tzadik Beis. When the Tur discusses the various minhagim and he quotes Tosfos, the Tur writes, and that is the Rif and the Rambam, that were Mekel by Tekias the Mu'umad because we were already Yotze. So if we have a steer in Tosfos, we have a much bigger problem. We have a steer in the Tur, and we have a steer in the Ran. Because the Ran, in this very same Perik, in Masechet Rosh Hashanah, Perik Dalet in Masechet Rosh Hashanah, we find both ideas in the Ran. It's true, the Rambam Tekias the Mu'umad does wonder. He quotes the Rif and the Rambam, we're Mekel by Tekias the Mu'umad because we were already Yotze. And the Ran does question the logic of the Rif and the Rambam, and he says, after all, Tekias the Mu'umad are Malchus, Zechonis, shofars. But even the Ran doesn't go so far as to say, you're not Yotze. You're not Yotze. So, what I argue is, we must come to a conclusion that there's no steer. And if there's no steer in the Tur and the Ran, then there's no steer in Tosfos. So what I argue is, Iker Tekias are Tekias the Ma'umed, but nevertheless, we're Yoitza with Tekias the Miyush. And there's no downside to it. A person could be Makayim a mitzvah and be Yoitza even in a B'di'evidik fashion, and then do it once again and be Yoitza Lachatchila, and he's not losing out. And I think the same is true regarding Karpas and Morah. So when the Chizda says, doesn't make sense, you're eating Morah, you're not going to make a bracha, so you make a bracha when you eat Morah L'Shem Karpas. So how could you make a bracha L'Chidas Morah and not be Makayim the mitzvah of Morah? Between Karpas and Morah, a lot of things go on, and that's a Hefsek Gomer, it's a bracha L'Vatola. So my understanding would be, same regarding Karpas and Morah. When he says the bracha L'Chidas Morah, when he eats Karpas, he's Yoitza Mitzvah Morah. Otherwise he can't say a bracha. Otherwise that bracha would be a bracha L'Vatola. So why does he eat Morah again? Because the Torah says, Al matzah samrorim yichlu, koydem matzah v'yachekach Morah. So we eat Morah again. So if you'll ask me, so which is the Ikar mitzvah? The Ikar mitzvah is Morah la'achar matzah. That's the Ikar mitzvah, because that's the proper place and the proper time to eat Morah. But we were already Yaitza when we ate Morah L'Shem Karpas. And the same regarding Tekias Shofar. Ikar Tekias, Tekias the Ma'umad, because that's with the brachas, and that's important. But Chazal also decided La'arve V'Sasam, and that is also important, and that is why we do Tekias the Miyushav. And if we do Tekias the Miyushav, first of all we're Yaitza. And because we were Yaitza, Mishum Terchet et Zabura, with all the importance of Malchi Zechar and Shofis, we're Mekel with the Tekias. So in the Torah world, it is known in the name of the Briskerov. And some are Miyachas, this Psak Rav Chaim Brisker. And it's based on the Beis Halevi Siman Mem Zayin. So the Briskerov dealt with a question. A person has two esrogim, sukkahs. One is a beautiful esrog, Mahudar Shebehiduri, but it's a Sofet Murkav. The other is a kosher esrog beyond doubt, but it lacks in beauty, it lacks in hodo. And he will take them both. But on which one would he make the brocha? So the Briskerov said, Das about to make the brocha on the kosher esrog, and then take the other one. That's a mistake. So the Briskerov said, if you make the brocha on the kosher esrog, then you lost hiddur. Because there is no hiddur only when you're mekayim the ikar mitzvah. And if you were already yaitza, makes no sense. So first you take the mehudadik esrog, which is a sofet murkav. You have a 50% chance to be mekayim the mitzvah bihidura. You have a 50% chance not only to be yaitza mitzvah, but also to be mekayim zeh kelim v'anveyu misadar upon of b'mitzvahs. It's an order upon of b'mitzvahs. And then, if it's possible, you take the other esrog as well. And that's not a hefsek, because anything that has a shaykhus with kiyum mitzvah is not a hefsek. So what I argue, does that contradict the psak of the Briskerov? Even if it does, and yoymed al dati, I think I'm right. But I would prefer not to be on the wrong side of the Briskerov. So, maybe there's no contradiction between what I say and this psak of the Briskerov, and we could differentiate and be machalek between Eder Mitzvah and a situation in which we were mekayim a mitzvah in a b'di'evidik fashion mitzad dinei ha-mitzvah likisha'atzma. So if you have a kosher esrog, what you're lacking is zekelev aveyu. Zekelev aveyu is a general concept. It's relevant to all the mitzvahs. It's not a din in esrog. It's not a din in lulav. So there's room to argue. If you were yoitzi the chovis a mitzvah, even lachatchila, but you're lost, you're losing out on zekelev aveyu, you can be mashlim that. But when you're mekayim a mitzvah and you're lacking the details and the specifics of the hidurim and the chumras of this mitzvah, then you could do it again and you could be mashlim everything that was missing. So but Tekias Shofar, it's not zekelem aveyu, it's malchi zechon shofar, which is a din in Tekias Shofar. By achilas moror, al matzahs amrorim yochlu, that's a din in moror. Moror should come after matzah, and that is why you're not losing out. It's a chilek, but I always say, not everything we could be machalek, we are machalek, and not every door that we could poke our nose in, we do so. Some doors we leave closed, and we don't open all the doors. And I don't think the chilek is very reasonable, because Yesoid Advorim, and the basis of my shitta is two sources, the Levushin Tov Kuf Pehei and the Maharal and Sefer Gvuras Hashem, Perek Memches. The Maharal says, Matzah B'leil Seder, you yoytzu with the kazayis, but as much as you eat, it's still the mitzvah of Be'erev Toich L'matzahs. The kazayis is the minimal shir. But if you eat 20 kazaysim, each and every one is the mitzvah of matzah. Because the Pasuk says, Be'erev Toich L'matzahs, as much as you eat is the mitzvah of Be'erev Toich L'matzahs. After you had a kazaysim with yoytza, but you still have the mitzvah, the Levush says the same on V'lachachtam L'chem B'yom Rishon, mitzvahs Lulav V'esli. Midiag Be'nofek Be'y, because once you lifted the Lulav V'esli, you're yoytza. But if you do it all day, you have the mitzvah, because the Torah doesn't say V'lakachtam lechem pa'amachas, and the Torah doesn't say Be'erev toichlu kazayis achas. So that's the minimum shir, the minimum requirement. But and the Levush says the same regarding shofar. If you blow shofar all day, you have many more mitzvahs. But by shofar chazal aser, because of the shus of Hashmoas Koil, Shemi Yitatan Klei Shir. And I say this is not only a chiddush by matzah or by lulav. All the mitzvahs that say Atluyim Bisman are the same. Once you did the mitzvah, you were Yoitzi Yedei Choyv. You do it 10 times, you have 10 mitzvahs. I say the same regarding Kriyas Shema Shachlas V'Arabis. Shachlas V'Arabis is the requirement. You do it 10 times, you have more mitzvahs. All the mitzvahs that are totally Bisman are the same. And that is why I say, we were Yoitzi Shofar. But you're missing Malachi and Zechon and Shofars. Do it again, and you have Malachi and Zechon and Shofars. You were Yoitze Moror. Yes, we were Yoitze Moror when we ate karpas. But there's an Indian to eat Moror after matzah. Do it again. No loss. No downside. So according to this logic, the same would apply to Hiddur. Same would apply to Hiddur Mitzvah. So the Biskarov isn't right. So it's not me against the Biskarov, it's the Sam Sofer and the Ksav Sofer. Because in Minhag Sam Sofer there's a letter that was written by his Einikel, was a Godel B'Yisrael, of Shimon Sofer, and he writes that his father and his Zayda, the Sam Sofer, used to have different Esrogim. And they made a broch on the Yana Ve'esrig. The Yana Ve'esrig is from Greece. Some big Hasidim, Ada Yom Hazeh, take Yana ve'Esrog. I think Esrogi Eretz Yisrael are choshever than Greek Esrogim. Why would we take Greek Esrogim if we have beautiful Esrogim and have Kedushas Eretz Yisrael? So anyway, so the Sam Sofer's opinion was that the Yana ve'Esrogim from Greece have a chazaka. But they were generally not nice Esrogim. So he had other Esrogim that were beautiful, and he writes that the Chassam Sofer made the broch on the Yana Ve'esrig, because that's Vadei Kosher, and then he took the other Esrogim that were Meudah, and the Ksav Sofer did the same. So, Briskerov is the Briskerov, but that was not the opinion of the Chassam Sofer and the Ksav Sofer, and this very same Shaila they dealt with. And their minhag and their psak was, first you make the broch on the Kosher Esrog. And they still took the other Esrogim, which are more Mehudar and more beautiful. And in that case, it's the same as the Brisker of Shaila. So, in my opinion, same Tekias the Mo'on Yushav, more of a Karpas. First of all, you Yoitzi Yedei Chayva. And then you do the mitzvah again with all the Yidurim and all the Chumras and all the Kpeidas and all the details. You're not losing out. And I have 10 rayas to this Yisod. We won't go through all the 10, but let's go through Some of them. So on Siman Mem Vav in Shulchan Aruch Orach Chaim, the Tur brings the minhag that we say Kriya Shema before Sukkah de Zimra, right after Berachas HaShachar. The reason, fundamentally, is just Kabbalas Amach HaShemayim at the beginning of the day. Just like we have Kriya Shema She'ala Mito after Krishma Shel Avis, we have Kriya Shema at the beginning of the day before Tfilas Shachris. But the Torah writes that one should say Baruch Shem Kavod Malchusay Li'olam V'od, and that's the meaning of the Goen, not the Vilna Goen, but Goen Echad. Because sometimes, by the time we get to Kriya Shema B'Bechaseu, it's after Zman Krishma. So a person should be mechaven to be Yoitze Kriya Shema when he says that early Kriya Shema. Rabbi Kiva Eger comes along and he says, so when we say Kriya Shema before Shachris, we should say it al Tanai. If we're going to miss Zman Kriya Shema before we say Kriya Shema B'Bechaseu, we want to be Yoitze right here and now. But if we will say Kriya Shema before Sof HaZman, then we don't want to be Yoitze with this short version. After all, you're only saying Posuk Echad. The Machmirim say Parasha Rishoyna, but you're not saying Gimel Pashiyos, you're not saying the Brochus. So the Kiva Eger says you need to say it al Tanai. But the Torah doesn't mention it tonight. And neither does the Bis Yosef, neither does the Bach, neither does the Prisha, the Mugan of Rome, the Taz. Nobody says that you have to have in mind it tonight. And the Torah doesn't speak about it now. He says you should be Yoitze with that Posek Echad Shel Kriya Shema, because maybe sometimes you're not going to say Kriya Shema B'Chaseu. So if it's Shabbos and Yom Tov, and it depends on, you have a few minutes, and maybe the Chazan is going to decide to sing a long tune by Keil Odoin, then you really don't know. But most people daven early in the morning, and we definitely will say Kriya Shema B'Chaseu before Sof HaZman. And nevertheless, the Torah says you should be mechaven to be Yoitze. Until Rabbi Kiva Eger, nobody says it's al Tanai. So my opinion is, you don't need to say it now. First of all, you were Yoitze, so what's the problem? You're a Yoitze. You do it again, and you do it again with all the Gimel Parashiyos and the Brochas, with all the Hidurim and Chumras, and there's no downside to it. This proves you could be Yoitze Mitzvah in a B'di'evidik Oifen, in a B'di'evidik fashion, and you're not losing out. Do it again with all the Chumras and all the Hidurim and all the Isofis. Raya number 2 is...
Is that even without tefillin?
What?
Is that even without tefillin?
We don't need to go into this discussion. So the Torah doesn't discuss. Do you say this Kriya Shema with tefillin, without tefillin? Our meaning is to say it after Berachas HaShachar. So if the Siddur says anything, then Hanukkah's tefillin comes before Berachas HaShachar, before Kriya Shema. So I don't know. But you could say it without tefillin. As long as you say Ikor Kriya Shema with tefillin, that's not Ma'adei the Sheker. The Kavanah is saying that it could be a Kriya Shema with tefillin. So when we read the Megillah, there's a meaning that we say various psukim out loud. The Teimanim have the Bal Koira, the Koira, say the psukim, and then the congregation says it. But our meaning is that the people read out those psukim loud, and then the Bal Koira says it. So, lechatchila you need to read the entire Megillah Metorchik Sav. B'di'evet you're yoitz a few psukim, if it's the miut of the Megillah, if you read it Bal Peh not Metorchik Sav. So when those people all read the psukim of the Megillah, Shalom Metorchik Sav, they were already yoitz. And then when the Shliach Tzibur reads it Metorchik Sav, they were already yoitz. So this minig is against halacha. You're yoitz, but you're not yoitze lechatchila, because lechatchila you need to read the entire Megillah Metorchik Sav. So he saw a sefer quoting Rabbi Yosef that we need to teach the people when they read out those psikim Baal Peh, they should do it al Tanai. So before I said, how is it possible that till Rabbi Akiva Eiger, no one came up with this idea al Tanai? Well, another 200 years, till Rabbi Yosef, nobody said that the minute to read out psukim out loud, you need to be mechaven al Tanai. We never heard that you need to be mechaven al Tanai. People aren't mechaven, they just read the pasuk. So we're yoytza in a b'diavad koifen, and these minhagim are not in the Rishonim. So why would we adopt a minig which is against the halacha, and we're yoytza mikra megillah b'diavad, and therefore say no, it's not a b'diavad at all. When you read it Baal Peh, you were yoytza, and then you hear it again from the shliach tzedek metorchik sav, and you're yoytza lechatchila, and you're not losing out. So Lamdan once argued no. Yitzhak said the choiva b'mikra megillah is not every posuk in its own. I mean, as long as you didn't finish the Megillah, you weren't yoytza. So by the time you finish the Megillah, it's all metorchik sav. Which brings us back to last week's shir, right? The Marsham says we're not mechaven to be yoytza with gimel koilos. Yeah, and the Pesh Pesach Frank says, what do you mean? It doesn't make sense. When he blew those gimel koilos, he was mechaven to those gimel koilos. So I don't think this is a correct argument. I mean, every posuk is the mitzvah of Kriyas Megillah. You weren't yoytza until you're going to the Megillah, till you finish the Megillah. But every posuk you read is the mitzvah of Kriyas Megillah. But why get into this argument? One of the psukim we read out loud is the last pasuk. So regarding the last pasuk, you were already yoytza. So what's it called sarayden? I mean, the last pasuk, which Moshe Ish Mordechai that's the last pasuk in the Megillah, and we read out loud. So you finish the mitzvah in a b'diavad koifen. So this once again proves no downside. It's not b'diavad. Yes, we were already yoytza shalom metorchik sav. And then we listen when the Shliach Tzibur is called a Metorchik Sav, and we have the entire Megillah Metorchik Sav. So this to me is a very yesodistic, very, very pushet svara, which I have many rayas to, but it's also Misyashav Alev. I don't see why a person can't be Makayim and be Yoitza, and then add on another time and be Yoitza with all the Chumras. I even want to argue that even Rabbi Akiva Eiger would agree with me. Because Gam L'Shitosi, if there's no reason to do otherwise, of course it's Ra'ui Tfei that the Yetzias Yedei Choyve should be a Falachat Cheledik Noifen and not a B'diavad. Yes, you can do it again, but why? It definitely would be preferable that Kiyum HaMitzvah L'Shem Yetzias Yedei Choyve should be with all the Chumras and all the Hidurim. And why be Yotzi Yedei Choyve B'diavad and then do it again? After all, Chazal teach us, God la Mitzvah V'oisa v'Mishena Mitzvah V'oisa. So the Mitzvah V'oisa is the more important performance of every mitzvah. So regarding Kriyas Shema, before Kriyas Shema, what's the inyan to be Yotzi? Well, why? Why be Yotzi? If you could do it al T'nai, that's all the... What I mean to say is, the Torah doesn't mention T'nai, because the T'nai is not essential. T'nai is not a hechleach. You could be Yotzi and then do it again with all the chumras, with the brachas and gimel pashiyos. But Rabbi Akiva Eiger is also right. What for? Why be Yotzi with a b'diavad Kriyas Shema if you could say Kriyas Shema L'Shem, Kavod Malchus Shemayim Ba'alma, and have Kavod not to be Yotze Mitzvah Kriyas Shema, it's preferable to be Yotze in the greatest fashion, in the L'Chatchila de Koifen. In the other sources, there's a reason we're Yotze. And that is because Liach Hashem Mileh Koiser, Choizer HaMavorech. That's the Chisda's argument. We have a problem here. We have a problem because he needs to eat karbas. And that is also a choshev minig. Chazal were metaken karbas. It's a zeichel letit. So usually you use another vegetable. But if he has no other vegetable, we have a problem. So should we be mevatel on karbas? Both of Rav Hina and Rav Chisda said no, karpas is important. So Rav Chisda argues, if you need to eat Mora L'Shem karpas, so we have reasoning to be yoitze b'di'eved and then do the mitzvah again, the same regarding Kiyah Shofar. It was important to Chazal Arba v'Sasodin, and they knew why. They knew why. And it was important to them to be Ma'arba v'Sasodin. And then we have a problem. But if we blow Miyushav, and that's not Al Seder HaBrochas. So in these two cases, which are the basic sources, there is reasoning. There is a good reason that we perform the mitzvah in a b'di'eved way and then do it again lechatchila. But by Kriya Shema, Rabbi Kiva rightfully asks why. What's the inyan? Why not be yotzi yedei choiva ba'ofen shel lechatchila? So Rabbi Kiva suggests, okay, there's a good reason to be makabel ol malchus shamayim before tefillah, and that is the posik that we say before psuka de zimra, but it's preferable to be mechaber, not to be yotzi yedei chavasoi. We should be able to be yotzi yedei chayva with kriya shema be'birchoi seihom.
Why are we more mahadir keys to Yush? We kind all of the shrat, and we find all the shrat kulas from Umar.
Because otherwise it's a suffix bracha levatala. If you say the bracha, you need to be confident that yotzi yedei chayva. We don't want to get into sveikas of a bracha levatala. But after we were already yotze, then the zgula of malchus zechon and shofars were makel. But when you're yotzi yedei chayva, you need to be yotzi yedei chayva al tzad havadai. So the Magen Avraham in Simarei Shayin Aleph says, when a person davens Leil Shabbos, and then he gets home and he makes Kiddush, he's only chayav Kiddush D'Rabbanan because he was already Yotze Kiddush in Tefillah when he says Mekadosh Shabbos. So the Magen Avraham says that he's only Mechuyev D'Rabbanan, and if his wife didn't daven, then she's Mechuyev Min HaTorah, so he can be Moitzi her. And then the Dugam of Omer B'Kivei Gav Ganze B'Kuach Afro Pishiyot Samoitzi. The Sam Sofer in the Hagos on the spot, and also Tshuvas Chasam Sofer Simin Chof Aleph Orachayim. Some Sofer argues against the Magen Avraham, and he says, when you daven and you say Mekadosh Shabbos, you need to have Chavona Lo L'Shem Kiddush, because Chazal were Metapen Kiddush Alakos. So you need to have kavanah when you say Mekadosh Shabbos that you don't want to be Yotze Kiddush because you're losing out Kiddush Alakos. And therefore, he wasn't Yotze. And when he gets home and he says Kiddush, it's a Kiddush D'Oraisa. So what would the Magen Avraham answer? You would answer, no. What's the problem? You were Yotze Kiddush D'Oraisa, and you do it again, Kiddush Alakos. I think that some Sofer in any event is not right with this time against the Magen Avraham because Kiddush Alakos is the Rabbanan. So, yeah, you were Yotze Kiddush D'Oraisa in Tefillah. And Chazal were metaken a Kiddush D'Rabbanan Alakos. So what's the problem? So, the entire Tkol of Kiddush Alakos is the Rabbanan because in this case, it's not coincidental. That was the Takuna. But the Sam Sofer argues, no, it's preferable to be Mechaber, not to be Yotze. And I say, no. Kiddush of Tefillah is important. Mekadosh Shabbos is the Matbeya of Tefillah Shabbos that we say 4 times every Shabbos. By Arvis and Shachas and Musaf and Mincha. So, there's no other option. He needs to say Mekadosh Shabbos. And therefore, yes, he is Yotze Kiddush D'Oraisa, and then he does it again. This case is different than the others because here it's a D'Oraisa and a D'Rabbanan. So anyway, that's my Yisoid. So we're Yotze with Tekias the Yushav, and then we do it again Tekias the Moran. 2 interesting shittas, which are unique and different than all the other Rishonim. What?
What's the Indian to be Yotze there?
What's the Indian to be Yotze?
All these cases are different. But here's an Indian that
That is exactly how I explained Rabbi Kiva Eger. Rabbi Kiva Eger says, why? Make it tonight. What is the Indian to be Yoitza? Like the Torah explains, because sometimes by the time we get the Kiddush from the Bechel, we'll be using Zman Kiddush. So that is the reasoning, the basic reasoning to be Mechavan to be Yoitza. That's what the Torah says. Because sometimes by the time we get the Kiddush from the Bechel, we're going to be losing Zman Kiddush. So the Torah speaks about Kroivitz. But that's only a limited times in the year. Purim we say Kroivitz, Yom Tovim we say Yoitzes. But the basic idea of being Yoitze in the first Kishma is because not to lose out Zman Kishma. So the Kiva Eger says, so you have a push at the Eitzah, do it out tonight. That, as I said, we do not find that in the earlier sources.
According to what the Rav said before, that every time you do a mitzvah aseh, even once you're already Yotzi, you're still doing kind of mitzvah. Why not say the same thing about Kiddush? That even after I said in Tefillah, I'm still doing mitzvah aseh, the erase of saying Kiddush.
Yes, definitely.
So
Yeah.
what's the whole?
According to what I say, that is exactly the
That would be-
case. But I say, even if you do not accept
That thing?
my idea, it's still different. Because there's Kiddush Diurais and there's Kiddush Darabanan. So maybe that was the idea. Kiddush Diurais is Yotzei Tefillah, and Kiddush Darabanan is Alakos. Just like by Havdalah. By Havdalah, it's definitive. Because by Havdalah, you say Havdalah b'Tefillah. So if you say Havdalah b'Tefillah, why do you say Havdalah? Because that was the Tekuna. That's the idea. You were already Yotzei Havdalah b'Tefillah. And by Havdalah, it's definitive. Because you're saying Havdalah. Mekadesh Shabbos is not associated with Kiddush, because we say it by Shachas and Musaf and Mincha. But Havdalah, Mitzvah Shabbos is definitely Havdalah. So do you have a problem saying Havdalah L'Kos? That was the Tekuna L'Chatchila. Yesh Havdalah b'Tefillah, Yesh Havdalah b'Kos. So why wouldn't we say the same by Tefillah, by Leil Shabbos? Yesh Kiddush b'Tefillah, Yesh Kiddush b'Kos. So I don't really understand what troubles the some cycle we find the same by Havdalah.
What is mafsik between Tekias Yeshua and Robit, the other Robit and another Bro?
Three different opinions. Rabbeinu Simcha says, even with the Eved, you gotta say the brocha again. Rambam, Perek Gimel, Rocha Gimel, Shulchan Aruch say, L'chatchila not to be mafsik, but with the Eved don't say the brocha. The Ritva says, even L'chatchila you can be mafsik. So the Rambam fits in beautifully with what we explained. You were already Yoitze.
You can Yotze again, so why not make another Bro?
You can't be Yoitze again. There's no such thing Yoitze again.
So the Bro is only
You were be Yoitze, and the brocha is on mitzvah shofar. We were already Yoitze mitzvah shofar. You don't say a brocha on Malachi Zechron Shofars. You never say a brocha after you were Yoitze. The brocha is only on Yitzias Yidei Choyv. So when he said a brocha on Karpas, he doesn't say a brocha again on Morah.
Well, it's not mitzvah human, then why is it
You never say a brocha on a mitzvah kiyumis. Brochas are only on... No, shchita is different. This is not a mitzvah kiyumis, this is a mitzvah shelishus. That's a third geder. Shchita is a chiyuv if you eat basar. But this is a mitzvah shelishus. You never say a brocha on a mitzvah shelishus.
What about the Malchus Shofars? That's not, that's a mitzvah.
Yeah, that's not mitzvah shoy.
What about Sukkah?
What?
That you?
No, but once again. If you eat the sudas kva, you're mechuyev to sit in the sukkah.
Is it still in Chasam
So make a
Soifa?
personal
Still in the Chasam Soifa?
Why?
In one place the Chasam Soifa was with the Esrog that the out, and the other place he was being Choyla.
No, it's not necessarily a steal. So the Ritva says that even as a chil you could be mafsik. So the Ritva has a gewaldige chiddush. And he says, Malchi is a chronic shofars have nothing to do with mitzvahs shofar. It has to do with Malchi is a chronic shofars. It has to do with tefillah. And the Tekias shofar of Malchi is a chronic shofars is the same as Mis'anon u'merian b'yamei ataynis. So the shofar of Malchi is a chronic shofars is just lahaloi zichronenu l'toiva, and that's not the mitzvah sasayach shofar. And that is why, according to the Ritva, you finished Tekias the Miyushav, you finished with the shofar. and you could talk. And the bracha, Berachas HaShofar, has nothing to do with Malchus Achron Shofars. And that's a totally new interpretation of the Arba V'Sasodin. Not Mitzvah HaShofars, Ma'arba V'Sasodin. But when we blow Shofar, Malchus Achron Shofars, we are confident, Al Menas She'etalu Zechroinchem Lefonai Letoivo B'Shofar. So the Shofar of Malchus Achron Shofars is not Yom Teruah Yelochem. It's as good as the Halois as a Tefillah. Like the Chatzoitzres B'Yamei HaTainis. Misanan Umerian. That is the Shofar Malchus Achron Shofars. It has nothing to do with Shofar Shel Rosh Hashanah. It is at Tekias Shofar. So the classical interpretation of all the other Rishonim is that the brachas are malava the Tekias. According to the Ritva, no, the Tekias are malava the brachas. There's an inyan to say Malchias and Zechronis and Shofars. And that is part of the Tefillah of Rosh Hashanah. And the Shofar is Mala the Tefillah, Lefona Yisboach Shemoi, and that is no longer Mitzvah Shofar. So what is La'arba V'Sasodin? Totally new pshat. The Shofar that we blow, I'll say that our brachas is maftiach, that our Zikorin is Oida Lefoiva Lefnei Kodesh Baruch Hu, and that is what travels the soul. So that's the deal. And the last interpretation is an amazing one, and that's the Balamor. The Balamor says, Tekias the Miyushav is Chazor Sashatz. Tekias the Mu'umad is 30 koilis that B'yamei Chazal they blew after Gemar Tfilas HaMusaf. So why is it called Tekias the Mu'umad? Because everybody is up and standing next to the door. They want to get out and run home. That's why it's called Tekias the Mu'umad. And Bizman Chazal, the Balamua says, there was no Tekias Shofar before Musaf. That is a relatively new minig la'achat hasinas atalmud v'shvil ha'choylem v'azekein. Because there are elderly people and sick people who can't wait out Chazor Shashatz, which is a long tefillah. So it's a relatively new minig. La'achar chasinas atalmud the shloshim kodesh we go before Musaf. This mechazal, we didn't do that. Tekias the Miyushav is Chazor Shashatz. Tekias the Miyushav because the Chazor Shashatz people are entitled to sin. And Tekias the Mu'omed is shloshim kodesh la'achar gemar tfilas HaMusaf. And people were already anxious to get out, and that's why it's called Tekias the Mu'omed. So the Balamua says, Bizman Chazal, when did they say Berachas HaShofar? They did not. There was no Berachas HaShofar. Because if you have the Brachas Malchus Achron Shofars, you don't need Berachas HaShofar. Why don't we say Berachas HaMitzvah for Kriyas Shema every day? It's a mitzvah to say the Uraisa. Why don't we say Asher Kadishonu b'mitzvah v'tzivon l'kol Hashanah? Because we have Berachas Kriyas Shema, and there's never double brachas. So the Berachas Kriyas Shema are also b'mkoyim Berachas HaMitzvah. So the Balamor says at the end of Rosh Hashanah, Bizman Chazal they didn't say Asher Kadishonu b'mitzvah because you have Malchus Achron Shofars. There's no need for other brachas. And it is only a later minhag to blow shloshim kodesh v'shel choylem v'zekeinim, and it is only then that they started saying Asher Kedishonu b'mitzvos v'tzivonon l'shmoya kol shofar. And that's a very mechudesh pshat, and it's in the Balamor at the end of Rosh Hashanah. So we spoke about Malchus Achron Shofars, and we have somewhat more clarity about the many Tekias that we blow. So we have Tekias the Mu'omed and Tekias the Miyushav La'arba V'Sasodin, and probably it's very important to be Ma'arba V'Sasodin, and we have the Tekias and the Truas. So, as I said at the beginning of this year, 3 Truas, and each is accompanied with a Tekiya Lefoneo and Tekiya La'achareo. The Tekiya is a coil that it manifests and reflects Simcha, while the Trua is a coil of Shivra and Leiv. This is what we learn in Pashas Baloischa, in the midst of the Chatzoitzes. Uv'yom simchaschem u'v'moyadechem u'v'rosh echadshechem u'tekatem b'chatzoitzes v'hoyu kisovei machom al arzachem v'hariyos. So, the Trua reflects Emas Yom Adin. And Daiga, we worry, we're afraid. And the Tekiah reflects Simcha. Why 1, 2, and 2 Tekias? Libi Yoimali. Because Rosh Hashanah, there are 2 reasons to be happy. One is Chedves Hashem Hima'uzcha. And this day, we coronate the king, Melech Malchei Amrach. And Rabbeinu Sadi Gaon writes 10 different reasons for Tekias Shofar. And number 1 on his list is, that's the way Mamlechas HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Maloich al kol ha'olam kuloi b'chvoidecha. And we are happy to be Mamlech HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But there's another reason to be happy. The Tur writes, because we are Batuach. We'll do ours, Tshuva Tefillah V'Tzedakah. And we're Batuach that HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yaseh Lanu Neis, and He will give us Mechilas Slicha V'Kapara. So Libi Yoimali, the Tekiah Shelefnei HaTruah is the Tekiah of Malchus Shamayim. As the Novi says, Lechu, Ichlu Madanim Shtu Mamtakim Shulchan Mones Le'inochon Loi, Al Te'atzvo, don't be sad. Chedves Hashem Hima'uzchem. That is the Tekiah Shelefnei HaTruah, before anything else. Before anything else, we bear the consequences, but before anything else, we're happy to be out there Hashem. And we're happy to be Mamlech HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And His Simcha is our Simcha. Then comes the Truah. The Tekiah La'achareo is the Tekiah of B'tochen. We are Batuach. We did Shuv. We did ours. And we're confident that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, out of His love, will be Moichel Mesolech. So those are the 2 Tekiyas, the Tekiah Lefaneo and Tekiah La'achareo. And Rosh Hashanah is a combination of different sentiments. Of Daiga and Shivroin Leiv, and of Simcha, which is the Iker Mitzvah. Libi Yoimali, you can't escape the fact that the Torah only talks about Truah. The Tekiah is not mentioned. And the Mitzvah to say is Yom Truah Yom. So the underlying and the overpowering sentiment is Emes Yoimali. Emes Yoimali. And that is the Iker Mitzvah. So the Navi says, Al te'atzvo, don't be ba'atzvus. You have reason to be happy as well. That is the Tekiah Lefaneo, and that is the Tekiah La'achareo, but they are supplementary. The Torah says, Yoim Truah. And Truah is a reflection of Shivroin Leiv. And the biggest gula in Rosh Hashanah is Shivroin Leiv. There's an amazing Zohar. The Zohar in Parshas Bolak. Chelik Daled Daf Kuf Tzaddik Hey. The Zohar says that in all the 150 Pirkei Tehillim, there are only 3 personal ones. Tefillah LaMoshe, Tefillah LaDavid, number 3, Tefillah LaOni Ki Yatoi V'Lifnei Hashem Yishpot Tzir. The Zohar says Tefillah LaOni is Kroivo LeHiskabel Yosem et Tefillah LaMoshe and Yosem et Tefillah LaDavid. So the Zohar says nobody was greater than Moshe Rabbeinu. No king was greater than David. And what I would add on to the Zohar, Tefillah LaMoshe has all the power of Koyach HaTorah. Zichur Torahs Moshe Avdi. Tefillah LaDavid has all the power of Avodah. Because David is Amoyah Tefillah. Name is Amiras Yisrael. But Tefillah LaOni taps the wall. And the Zohar explains, because Korei Vashem Lenish Berei is Dakei Ruach Yushir. Nothing is closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu than Shiburei Lev. And when we turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu like a Oni Ve'evyoin, Loi Bechesed V'loi B'masa Bonan Lefanechu Kedalam B'choroshim Defaklut Lo Sefa, then we stand alone with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Not the Beis Shalmala, not the Pamalia Shalmala. And the Zohar stresses, Tefillah LaOni Ki Yatoi V'Lifnei Hashem Yishpot Tzir. Lifnei Hashem. Only the Oni has a personal audience with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Not with the others, not with Beis Shalmala. And that is why Tefillah LaOni is more powerful than anything else. Korav Hashem Lenish Berei Leiv V'Zdaki Ruach Yushir. I think I said a year ago, and it's a thought that gave me so much chizuk. maybe some of you will remember. I think I said it a year ago. So every day in the morning we say Slichas, and one of the most important passages, Tfilas and Slichas, is Misha Ono, because that's a Mishnah in dance. So we say Misha Ono Avraham Avinu, we Yaneinu, Misha Ono Yitzhak Bakedi, Yaneinu, Misha Ono Yankov, and Moshe Ad, Yosef David, Shmuel B'Mitzvah, Yoina B'Mayadoga, and then we say Misha Ono L'Kol HaChasidim, Tzadikim HaYeshovet, V'Imu Yaneinu, and suddenly we go over to Aramaic, and we say Rachmana Da'one La'aniyei. Why that switch? Libi Yoimari, Shteit Ayid, talks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he says, you answered Avram, why don't you answer me? You answered Yitzchak, answer me. You responded to Yaakov Avinu, respond to me. You always responded to Kol HaChasidim, V'Tmimim, V'Yeshorim, V'Chasidim. Are you out of your mind? Are you serious? How crazy can one be? So you really think that HaKadosh Baruch Hu responded to Avraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, Moshe, Aaron? So you think you deserve the same treatment? Do you really think so? So where are they and where are you? And then you said, Mishon l'kol hasidim, v'tzadikim v'yeshorim. Exactly where do you fit in? Would you like to elaborate? Could you explain to us? So are you the tzaddik or the chassid or the tomim or the yosef? Where do you fit in? What do you mean? So what we really mean is, Rabbeinu Shalom, don't be angry. Don't be angry with us. We know we don't fit in anywhere. We say because it's in the Siddur. We say what we're told to say. We say what our forefathers said. And what could we do? Let the Malachim do whatever their duty is. We say because that's what we're told to do. But our real plea is, then we turn to Aramaic. Because in Shabbos Yud Beis, the Gemara says, Malachim don't understand Aramaic. And in Brochas Daf Gimel Toisa says, when we want to talk to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we don't want anybody else involved, we speak Aramaic. And my feeling is, why is Aramaic a language only between me and HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Because that's the language of Torah Shebaal Peh, and that's what defines us. Others learn the Bible as well. What we learn is not what they learn, but what is between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu more than anything else is Torah Shebaal Peh. Nobody else touches that. V'chaviv divrei soifrim and divrei Torah, the Yerushalmi says in Peah. And in Gittin Daf Samach, the Gemara says, Leikoras HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'ritzim Yisrael ele b'shvil Torah Shebaal Peh. So Aramaic is the family language. So after saying all these Misha Onos, we say, Rabbeinu Shalom, we would like to make something very clear. We're not Chassidim, we're not Tzadikim, we're nothing. We are nothing. We are Ka'afar ha'oretz. But you have a special place for Tefillah La'oni Kiyato. So our real hope is Rachmana, and we turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Midas HaRacham. Rachmana da'one la'aniyei aneinon. Rachmana da'one l'tvirei libo aneinon. Rachmana da'one l'mekichei rucha aneinon. That's all we have to offer. Shem Lev. So as I said, the Tekias is an expression of Simcha. The Truah is an expression of Shiva and Lev. And at Berachas HaShofar we say, Ki atu Hashem ma shomea kol shofar u'mazin Truah. What's the difference between Shomea and Mazin? Medrash and Pashas Hazinu. So the Medrash says, Moshe Rabbeinu says, Hazini Hashemayim v'dabeiro v'tishmor etzim Rabbi. I mean, the Navi Yeshayahu says the opposite. Shemi Shemayim v'azini yaretz. So the Medrash says, Moshe Rabbeinu was in the heavens 40 days, 40 nights. He was familiar up there. Hazana is listening. Shmiya is hearing. We hear voices from afar. But we listen to the person talking to us, right here in close proximity. So Moshe Rabbeinu could say, Hazini Hashemayim, because he's familiar with the heavens. V'tishma oretz memerchakim. The Navi Yeshayahu says, B'toich am tmeis fosayim unochi yoshev. He turns to the heavens from far away and he says, Shemi Shemayim v'azini eretz. And we say, Ki atu shomea kol shofar. HaKadosh Baruch Hu hears all the calls. Umazin Truah. But wherever there's a Truah, that somebody blows out of Shivron Lev, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not Shomea. He is right there. He listens. He doesn't hear. He hears the Tekiya Gedoyle, he hears the Tekiya Lefaneu, he hears the Tekiya Lachareo. But by the Truah, he's not only hearing, he listens. And he is close to us. And that is Kiyatu Shomea Kol Shofar U'Ma'azin Torah. So that's the avoid of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, Shivron Lev. Kedalam v'charoshim defaknu l'secho. Rachmona do'on al aniyei. Aneinu. Tefillah le'oni kiyato yitrafnei Hashem yishposivoi. Yerotzon HaKadosh Baruch Hu should become all our tefillas. And my bracha to all of you, you should have a Shona Toiva Mesuka from, you should be able to learn Torah. And we omer b'Torah, b'shalva, b'simcha, b'nachas, and have nachas from your families. And we should have a year of Shofar and Simcha and Nachas. And mi yitain that this coming year should be a Shnas Geula, Yeshua ben Hero, B'Yomeinu, Amen.